Malkia Sampley, and I am excited to be the director of Boulevard of Bold Dreams.
Hey, I'm LaDarrion Williams, and I am the playwright of Boulevard of Bold Dreams. So I'm excited for my world premiere. Yeah, it's a play about dreams. It's a play about. It's a. I don't even know if I want to call it a reimagining, but it's kind of like one of those. It's a story. It's just a story about Hattie McDaniel winning the Oscar, of course. But I kind of wanted to veer off in a different direction because I was very interested in learning about that night. I'm always, as a playwright, I'm always about what's happening behind the closed doors, and is it good or is it bad? And so I'm just really interested in that. So I wondered about that night, like, well, what happened before the moment she stepped into the hotel to change history? And so I was like, well, I think she wants to meet this, or not one, but she's going to meet this bartender, and he's going to be a dreamer. He's going to be like this movie director, and he's going to just explain his dreams to her, and she is struggling to even go to the actual event. I think she's deciding, like, I don't know if I want to go. And so they kind of go in a tango a little bit about that. And then it started off as a 2-person play. And when I was writing it, I got to like page 30, and I was like, who is this other voice talking to me? And in my research, I was like, okay, she played a maid, and Hattie played a maid, and this voice kept like, nope, my story. I need you to tell my story too. And I was like, okay, and I scrapped the whole play, and I started over, and I was like, Dottie. I kept hearing Dottie. I don't know why. Like, this character kept introducing herself to me, and so I was like, okay, a bartender and a maid in a hotel, and that's how they meet Hattie. And so, yeah, it's a play about achieving your dreams, and also the reality and the kind of like the heartbreaking moments of if you're not going to be able to achieve those dreams, and what happened, how do you move forward if it doesn't happen, and also in a very turbulent time in American history regarding just like racism and like the Jim Crow South, and just seeing these 2 young black characters from the South coming to LA to achieve their dreams, and being met with the reality of it may or it may not happen. So that's Boulevard in a roller coaster synopsis. Yeah.
One, the title, Boulevard of Bold Dreams, that one got me.
Yeah.
And then it was these 3 people who I fell in love with. But starting with Hattie, it was the first time I felt like I was able to see Hattie as a real person. Not the image of the mammy, and not the Oscar winner. There's not a lot of footage of her in interviews or her at home, or what it looked like when she wasn't on performance or on. And so to explore this world of who is this woman, and who is this woman who carries so much on her shoulders, just as one being a black woman, but then you add being a black artist on top of that. And what I loved most about this play is that you have 3 phases. There are 3 iterations of a dreamer. You have those at the door of doubt. You have those who are drunk in their dream, and waiting and excited about all the possibilities. And then you have some who is living the dream. And then when you live the dream, you're assessing the dream. And is it still a dream, or is it something else? So you're in conversation, not only with these 3 people, but those 3 phases of yourself in your dream. Black artists, I feel, have the sometimes obligation, honor, privilege, but burden of not only just being an artist, but a representation of your race, your family, your community, your school, all these different things. And then you have to do it better than, sometimes 100 times better than your white counterpart. And whether that's self-imposed or sometimes it is actually taught to you as a child. That pressure is difficult when you just want to play, when you just want to be an artist, and everyone doesn't want to be an activist. Everyone doesn't want to be the first. Some people just want to do. Yeah. And when you are stuck then, or not stuck, or you find yourself in the place of wow, I'm not just the actor. Now I'm the topic of conversation and controversy and change. It's,
Yeah.
what do you do with that?
Yeah, it's that conversation we have in the rehearsal room about like the innocence kind of being stripped away from us a lot of the times, especially like with black people and like black youth and just I mean older and everybody. But I think yeah, we don't have a chance to just play and like just to be sometimes. And I get it because everybody wants to be represented and they want to be represented well. And also as a writer, like writing black stories and writing these black characters, it can be very easy to be pigeonholed. Like, well, I can't write this because it's gonna make this group of people look bad, or maybe it's gonna make my family look bad, or my parents, or my siblings.
And then there are only so many slots.
Yeah.
So many spots, whether the black characters or the black kinds of stories. So then you got to be really picky.
Yeah, and it's just yeah, and sometimes I'm really good at that. Like okay, I'm just writing my story because usually when I write a play or write a script or whatever, it literally just takes over. And like I hear the characters and I see the world and and I'll figure like okay, well maybe I did go too far or maybe I didn't or maybe I pulled a lot of punches in this specific session. And so yeah, I it's 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 a conversation that's going to be had for probably till the end of time. I don't know. It's just
Because we're still living in the world of firsts.
yeah. Like first,
We only just had our first black president. Our first female vice president, who also is first Indian and first African American or black. Like there's still so many firsts we're dealing with that we still have a long way to go. Yeah. So this story is not just in the past; it is still a representation of what's still happening today.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I do write about the past, but I do think about the now, especially with the Oscars so white and a lot of things that's happening in Hollywood. Because I live in Hollywood and I'm trying to get these stories on and like up, and because I do feel that I do have a responsibility. Maybe not for everybody, but I like the line. There's a line in the play that says, you gonna know my mama's story. That's how I personally feel with my mother, who is a 62-year-old black woman living in Alabama who went through.
Why you tell your mama's age?
My bad, mom. But she's this black woman who I grew up and watched, and like she made the impossible possible. I don't know how. Like I don't remember going without food. I don't remember going without clothing or school supplies. And yeah, it's like, but she's Dottie. I feel like sometimes she is Dottie, and she could have been Hattie, or she could have been Arthur if that brick wall wasn't built against her as a black person, but also as a black woman. And so I try to do the best as I can as a black man to honor her. One, honor black women, but also honor her because she's my mother. So I just, yeah, it's the fact that it's a lot of firsts. Anything is just crazy. Yeah. Again, I'm really inspired. I'm really excited. I try to hold on to that innocence of like being that kid in the candy store, being that kid in Disneyland when I walk into the theater for the first time, or when I walk into the rehearsal hall and seeing like Malkia work with the actors, and we have those conversations. Like I said, like last night was like kind of like therapy, a little bit, because usually I don't share a lot about like my personal life, but like I'm getting to a point where it's okay. Like I think my story can help somebody else, but just having those moments, and it may not even have anything to do with the play. But it's just having that personal moment. And so just seeing the design team, the scenic, the costume, the entire artistic team at Timeline kind of talk about this play and assemble everybody. It's just, I do have like that bright eye. Like, when you walk into Disneyland or Disney World for the first time, and I never want to lose that. And that's what every day I walk into the theater or into the rehearsal room, that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm just grateful because it's been a long, hard road as a playwright, as an artist, period. But just remembering writing this play while living in my car in Hollywood, just trying to make it. I'm just trying to make it. I'm trying not to go home. I'm trying not to quit. And this play was birthed out of that. And so just in March 2020 dealing with that. And I'm like, I don't know if anybody's ever going to see this play or read it. I'm just writing this for me. To seeing this now and seeing everybody come together, I'm like, it's worth it, you know? So I'm really grateful. I'm really inspired to go on this journey with Timeline, with Malkia, with the entire cast. So, yeah.
And we are grateful that you chose to write this story. Because it's not, although you wrote it for you and you're a writer, so you have so many other stories and ideas, but it's because you chose to answer the call and to do the work, it's that part that is now not only we get an opportunity to tell the story, but you are helping others perform their art, to have employment, to give other people opportunity to heal, and for an opportunity to play with other artists. You talk about that play, and that's the greatest part of rehearsal, to be able to play. And it's because of the birth of your story, and that's the beautiful part. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm like, again, just being here and like, because I didn't know who was going to direct it. I was just like, I just want to put up, and then like, you know, just talking with you and like our first conversation, I think we were on the phone for like what 3-4 hours just talking, and I was like, yep, this is it. Because when you can just bear yourself, because you have like, you give like that safe space. I think that's been an important aspect in a rehearsal room, is like safe space, and I'm all about that in 2023, just giving myself a safe space to be what I want and not what everybody thinks. So it's great. I'm excited to continue on with this play.
The play takes place in 1940 in this offshoot bar or saloon in the Coconut Grove, or in the Ambassador Hotel. We're in the Ambassador Hotel in this secret room, this bar, and it is intimate, and our audience is in the bar with us. They're right there, and so they're part of the conversation, really. And what's great is we have this other element to this play, and it's song. We have a few songs lyrics written by LaDarrion.
I'm not a songwriter, guys.
Oh, please, you know, we can cut that part.
Yeah.
Lyrics by LaDarrion, and it was a wonderful collaboration to work together on seeing his beautiful poetry and to put music with it. And Andre, our wonderful and talented composer who with Leandro created the music, the accompaniment to it. And the four of us, I think, came up with just a really beautiful tune that sounds like it's from 1940.
Yes.
So I can't wait for them to hear this song.
Yes, because music is important to me as a writer. Like when I first write scripts or anything, I have to build like a playlist. Like that's my go-to thing. And you know, writing, I didn't even know there was going to be music in the play. I got to this point. I was like, well, since music is a very important factor for me, I'm like, well, they have to sing. Somebody has to sing in this play. And so I wrote the lyrics, and like when we developed the play down in Orlando before we came here, like she started putting like the tune to it. I'm like, especially like Moonlight, like there's a song called Moonlight. I don't want to reveal too much, but like I was like, that's exactly what I imagined. Like the very like I don't know.
The smokiness. Yeah. When you think 1940s
the dreamy,
bar, dreamy, we go there with that jazz, but then also maybe there's a little Charleston in there. There's something upbeat as well. So it's not only do you get this great story and this great play in this intimate space, but you get to hear the music of that time period as well, while it also being original.
Yeah, original, yeah. Yeah, because music lands you in that time. Like it's just, music is very interesting. It's an important factor for me as a writer, so I think especially like the time that we all gone through, especially with like COVID and like the shutdown and everything, I think it's important to have a space to come dream again. I think 2020, again, is that snatching of the innocence a little bit. I think 2020 snatched a lot of things from us. And I think this play is important for audiences to come see, because I think they can have a space to come dream. You know, I remember just watching films growing up and like, I'm like, oh, and watching the behind the scenes featurette. That used to get me pumped. Like, I don't know why I was a 10-year-old watching stuff like that. I don't know. But I'm like, I want to be that. And so I think I want audiences to feel that too. Like when they come see this play, they kind of get in that featurette behind the scenes type of moment. And also it's a new play. Please come support it. Like I think supporting new theater is very important right now in new plays because everybody has a story. And so yeah, with this play, I think I want audience to come. They should come see it because it just allows them the safe space to dream again.
Yeah,
that's my thing.
I think what I hope audiences get out of this story is the permission to dream. Talking of that dream, and realizing that having a dream doesn't mean that you're always confident about it or there aren't challenges. That people can interrogate your dream, and that you don't have to answer, and that there are answers to the dream, to the questions of the dream. Who is the dream for, and what is it you really want, or what are you sacrificing? Is it worth sacrificing, and who are you taking along with you? And you have permission.
Yeah,
you have permission to dream and take the time that you need, and all in time you can achieve that dream, and you can change your mind too. All of that is okay. The whole journey of it we go through in this play, and I do think that from the beginning of the play you may side with one character, and then by the middle another, and then at the end a totally different character. And I want the audience to see themselves. Yeah. This is Hattie's story, but it's your story as well.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to Timeline for making space for new stories, and showing everyone how important history is. Not only history, but community, and showing how relevant history is, and that what we went through in the past is what we're still going through today, and learning your past will inform the future. And that gift that Timeline has given our community has opened many doors for many artists like LaDarrion and I.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, same thing. I just want to give thanks to PJ Powers and Nick Bowling and the entire team at Timeline for saying yes when I was in a storm of no's. They gave me a yes, and they gave me a chance, and so I'm just really grateful. I never take stuff like that to granted when somebody tells me yes, because I know what it's like to be constantly told no. You're not right. Your play's not right for us at this time, and they said it's right. It's right at this time. So yeah, I'm grateful to Timeline.
Come see the show.
Come see the show.